Hey guys, it's Amy here, and today I'm going to talk to you about Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. This book is published by Canongate Books, and not too long ago they contacted me asking if I'd be happy to receive a copy of this to read. This is a non-fiction book, and as you may have noticed from all of the books that I read on my channel, I don't read a lot of non-fiction. In fact, last year I think I only read an autobiography of a comedian and a book on how the Hobbit movies were made. So the lovely lady at Canongate actually saw my recent video on mental health book recommendations, and she thought this book would be something I would really enjoy. You may recognise the name of the author. Matt Haig has also written The Humans and The Radleys. I haven't read either of them, but they are both on my wish list. This, I'm pretty sure, is his first foray into non-fiction work, and this is actually an autobiographical story of his life and his suffering with depression and anxiety. Quite honest with you, I'm not entirely sure where to begin with a review for this book. It was simply wonderful, and I know I will be rereading it at least once this year. As I read it on a train journey to London, I didn't have any kind of pen or pencil with me to underline the things that I really liked. I'm also not a big annotator of books, but this book made me want to do that, so I actually had to take pictures of the bits that I wanted to underline. So I will be rereading it very soon so I can go through and annotate all over it the bits that I really enjoyed. So in this story, Matt tells us how he descends into depression and anxiety at the age of 24. This all happens during a summer on a party island working with his girlfriend. It gets to the point where he's contemplating suicide and is really struggling to even leave the house. He has to go home to England and live with his family. You see how he becomes heavily reliant on the support of his girlfriend, and she does amazingly throughout. The complexity of this novel is so great I can't even efficiently describe it to you. The amount of information and facts and statistics and everything that is interwoven into the actual story is fantastically done. You don't feel like you're reading a factual book about depression and anxiety. You actually feel like you're going on a journey with the author. I've never really spoken about this in any of my videos before, but from a young age I've suffered with depression and anxiety, so what interested me the most was actually reading some of the stories and anecdotes from Matt Haig's childhood and the way he behaved, a lot to do with separation anxiety and various things to do with kind of him and his family and interactions and things like that were actually incredibly relatable to myself. I actually found myself thinking I did that, I was exactly like that as a child, and it was just nice to have that connection with the author and the story. So nice to see, as obviously now Matt Haig is a lot older and he has overcome various struggles in his life and he has found a positive solution to all of this. The light was there at the end of the tunnel even during the darkest moments when he didn't think it was, and the support system he needed was so great, but he managed to get through it. I think this is a brilliant book for anyone who has ever suffered with any kind of depression, anxiety, any mental health issue. Would be really great for you to read this, but also it would be really great for anyone who is a supporter of someone with a mental illness, and I'm willing to bet that even if you don't suffer directly yourself, you will probably know someone who has suffered with some sort of mental illness. And I think this book is not only a brilliant tool for the people who are suffering, but also for the people who are supported, because I know how incredibly difficult it can be to be the supported, but also to be the supporter. Pressure and general life on top of these incredibly dark feelings is really, really difficult. I also think this would be a great read for anyone who believes depression to be something that you can just stop, something that you can just get over, something you can just tell yourself to be happy with, that depression is just feeling a little bit sad or anxiety is just being a bit over worried. It's not like that, and unless you've actually suffered with it and understood the complexity and the deepness of that sadness, it's unfathomable. There's a part of the book where he speaks about life-threatening illnesses and how you wouldn't go up to a cancer patient and just be like, oh, you know, just feel a bit happier about that kind of thing. Depression and mental illnesses as a whole are one of the leading causes of death in the world through suicide, yet quite often you find people speaking to depressed people as if it's not a big deal, as if they can just sort it out themselves, as if what they have isn't a life-threatening thing because you can't physically see it. You wouldn't walk up to someone with a life-threatening illness and just tell them to get over it. It's just not something that's done. So I feel like I'm just pouring out all my crazy emotional feelings about this book towards you, but I just want to get across how awesome this book is and how much of an eye-opener and how much of a help it could be to so many people. It's really difficult to speak about mental illness, especially if it's your own experience of it, and I think Matt Haig has done it in a really, really beautiful way. I think I'm slowly getting to the point in my life where I'm feeling as if that light is there and things are slowly getting better. I look back at myself 10 years ago and think now, wow, I am such a different person. I have grown in so many different ways just because I gave myself the chance to do so. The light is definitely there at the end of the tunnel, even if you don't believe it to be, and the support system you can build world through just speaking to people about your experiences is immense. Speaking about depression and anxiety and my experiences has been one of the biggest helps for me, I believe. So even if you don't feel ready to speak to someone about your experiences yet, I think reading about someone else's experiences will be a real big eye-opener and possibly lead you to a much happier and hopeful place in yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've read this book or if you have an interest in doing so. If you have any questions for me, I will quite happily answer them in the comments, and I will also leave a lot of helpful links down in the description bar. As always, I will leave links to Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, everything down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Bye! Either way, I gave both of these 4 or 5 stars each, and I'd recommend to anyone who hasn't read anything like this before. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. I really, really love them.